He and Ron Rivera, this 8-win total so far this season, the best run in their 3 years together. Let's head down to the field. Welcome, Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, you mentioned the Panthers are without the services of DeAngelo Williams. So here's the plan. Veterans Jonathan Stewart and Mike Tolbert will both go despite not being 100%. Stewart battling an ankle injury that may be an issue all season that he just has to manage. Tolbert still fighting through that knee. So the Carolina staff tells me to keep an eye on rookie Kenyon Barner. He is active today for the first time in 3 games and may shoulder a big workload depending how Stewart and Tolbert hold up today, Chris.
Thanks, Jen. Jonathan Stewart has been the leading rusher in 2009 and 2010 for this Carolina team.
Well, and you heard Jennifer, maybe an issue all season. That ankle's been an issue for the last couple of seasons for Jonathan Stewart. I think he's ready for a breakout game. Fired up to see if he can do it in this one.
Ted Ginn ready for the return. The Buccaneers won the toss. They decided to kick off. They will get the ball to start the second half. That's Michael Kanan, 12th game of the year. It's week 13 here in the NFC South, and Ginn has it. Special teams for the Buccaneers, and they have been on a roll during their mini streak, doing its job as Cam Newton steps in. His best completion percentage so far in his career, nearing 62% with 17 touchdown passes. He's run for 5 touchdowns.
And you saw the numbers there. He destroyed this Tampa Bay team several weeks ago, which, talking to Gerald McCoy of the Buccaneers, the defensive lineman, he said it really woke him up. They were manhandled at the line of scrimmage, really in all phases of the game, and Cam Newton was the catalyst of that. He talked about some redemption in this game against Cam Newton, this offense.
He wouldn't call it payback, hesitated, and said we're looking for physical redemption. Jonathan Stewart splits out in the slot, ball going that way. He has it and is run out of bounds. Darrelle Revis, who is in the lineup despite being bothered by a groin, running him out of bounds. We talked about that banged up backfield. Brandon LaFell having a terrific season for the Panthers.
He sure is, and maybe we'll see more of Ted Ginn today with the issues, and Mike Tolbert get into the 3 wide receiver stuff. Nate Chandler, the right guard, former defensive lineman, will have his work cut out for him against this guy right here, Gerald McCoy, I think playing the best of any defensive tackle in the league.
Second down 8 from the 18. Stewart met hard at the 20-yard line. Levante David, who is having a Pro Bowl year, making the tackle. In fact, he was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and you talked about McCoy also. Captain again for this Buccaneer team, playing like a Pro Bowler. He's already been there once.
Boy, it's amazing, his leadership in only his 4th year. Happy to have Mason Foster back in the lineup right next to Levante David, and you could say the same for Deshaun Goldson. Darrelle Revis will play today, despite all the information during the week that he was going to be certainly a game-time decision with his groin injury.
And he lines up against Steve Smith, top of your screen, on 3rd and 5 from the 21-yard line.
And Steve Smith's been huge on 3rd down.
Cam Newton for LaFell. Incomplete coverage there by Leonard Johnson, the nickelback, who had the big interception return for the touchdown. One of the 5 turnovers the Buccaneers had last week in an upset win over the Lions. So
that looked like a pretty good throw. I mean, hard to see from up here if it was a pass breakup by Leonard Johnson or if that just went out of the hands of Brandon LaFell. That was a heck of a throw from Cam Newton.
Brad Nortman got a game ball last week, flipping the field against Miami in another one of those tight Panther wins. He'll be kicking to Eric Page, who has had a couple of 40-yard plus returns for the Buccaneers. Fair catch called for right at the 31-yard line. Well, Mike Glennon, after the 48-yard punt, wasn't expected to step in this soon, but after the Josh Freeman debacle, 4th game of the year, Tampa Bay 0-3. They went with him. He's got him on a win streak. Amazing, he's the first NFL player to have a touchdown pass in each of his first 8 starts, and some 74 yards, and he'll set that franchise yardage record as well.
Yep, and no doubt he is figuring it out. And I think after the last time against this Carolina defense, he threw it 51 times. That's too much. And they introduced a running game, and he's leaned on the running game heavily in these last 3 wins.
And that's Bobby Rainey, 4th-string running back, and he gets the carry. It's amazing. They're playing with a 4th-string tight end and Tim Wright, who has emerged. They're without Mike Williams, so Tyquan Underwood has stepped into that receiver role. And even with a number of backups, and again without Carl Nix on the offensive line, the offense has been producing.
And Vincent Jackson quietly having another very good season. The most consistent player up front has been the center, Jeremy Zutov, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
One of 6 Rutgers players active on the roster. That's where Greg Schiano coached before he came to Tampa Bay. Pass to Underwood for a first down. Gets up near midfield.
I like that play.
And Glennon with buddies from his college, a couple, 2.5 hours from here, NC State, here in the crowd after a 16-yard pickup going against, he said, maybe one of the better front sevens in all of football.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Mario Addison. Played well last week against Miami. He's in there again this week for Charles Johnson. Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, together playing as good as any 2 linebackers in pro football. And a secondary that has yet to be exploited, despite the perception there's a lot of backup players back there playing.
On first down, Rainey the carry, finds a hole. Bobby Rainey down to the 40. Luke Kuechly has to make the stop. Rainey's story has been told. Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, a pickup here, and he is starred for Tampa Bay.
Watch the block right here by Davin Joseph and DeMar Dotson. I mean, you're able to cut off the defensive tackle like that and open a running lane right up the gut and get a good fullback block leading the way up in there. If they can control those D tackles, Tampa will be able to run the football today. Gain
of 11 for Rainey on first down. Glennon from the 50, firing it open at the 20. Down to the 18 is Underwood. Tyquan Underwood coming off his best game as a pro. He said he's been waiting 5 years for a game like this, had a couple of touchdowns and over 100 against Detroit.
And he's just going to go sit down right in the zone. Munnerlyn turns him loose. He's going to break it off in front of the safety behind the linebacker. And that's what we're talking about with Mike Glennon. I mean, he gets to his back step. He sees what the coverage is. He knows what the coverage beater is, and he's on time with his throws. That was nice.
A 23-yard pickup down to the 17-yard line. Glennon, with time, goes underneath to Rainey. He makes a player miss and gets down near the 10-yard line. Rainey has stepped in when they had the injury to Doug Martin that Mike James got hurt, but he's kind of an every down back, Tim. He can run, he can catch, and they're happy with his blocking. He's a very patient runner.
And I think the big thing, and when you talk patience, it really is a virtue when you talk about a 2-man running back situation in terms of having a fullback on the field a lot. You're really waiting for that fullback in front of you to make his block, and you got to be patient behind him. Rainey's got all of that.
On second down, he gets the carry, cuts back through the hole, and is brought down in a hurry. Panther defense tough in the red zone. Frank Alexander part of the rotation with Mario Addison in for Charles Johnson, and he made the stop.
Man, he's been inactive quite a few games this year, Frank Alexander. And we asked the question last week, without their best player, Charles Johnson, how would that defensive line do? Addison played well, as did, as you just said, Frank Alexander.
Third down and 4. For Glennon and the Bucs, their first possession. Underneath, it's caught by Brian Leonard, and he can't get the first down. Thomas Davis, who was the defensive player of the month in the NFL. Got a lot of award winners in this game.
A lot of good players
making the stop.
That's right, and that's an area Ron Rivera knows his defense has been so good this year at tackling in space in the short to intermediate passing game. And conversely, Coach Schiano told us last night they're going to have to be able to run after the catch. Leonard couldn't do it there. Terrific tackle by Thomas Davis.
An important stand for the Panthers. So on 4th and 1, they line up for a field goal. Ryan Lindell has missed his last 2. This is from 27 yards. Kanan is the holder. And the Panthers get some early points, or I should say trail now, after they had the ball first. And the Buccaneers with some early points for Greg Schiano.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Back at Carolina, temperature in the 50s, cool blue skies, ideal here in December. And the underdog Buccaneers, who lost in October in an earlier meeting against Carolina with a 3-0 start. Michael Kanan to kick off to Ted Ginn. Ginn a couple of yards in his own end zone is coming out. And again a win for the Bucs on special teams. They stop him short of the 20-yard line. Cam Newton, after stalling in the opening drive, will lead the hometown Panthers on offense.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Carolina offense, which has been red hot during the streak, but 3 and out the first time they got the football against the Buccaneers, starting from the 17-yard line.
Hey, Leo, 5-9. Sit, what are you?
Cam Newton with time and completes to Greg Olsen, who gets up across the 30 for a first down. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Arizona's Carson Palmer fumbled on the opening possession. 4 plays later, Nick Foles hooked up with Zach Ertz. The Eagles took a 7-0 lead, and Palmer just threw an interception. So 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for Arizona, and they're down a touchdown. Chris and Tim?
Thanks, Kurt. A couple of playoff contenders. Of course, the Eagles lead the NFC East. Arizona in the hunt for a wild card. Panthers will figure some way after a gain of 13 from the 30-yard line. Stewart is buried, and the Buccaneers were ready. Akeem Spence and Adrian Claiborne up front.
Akeem Spence has played pretty well. 4th-round pick out of Illinois, rookie. I mean, he is in all the traffic inside, mostly plays nose tackle. Gerald McCoy obviously prefers to be on the guard. And it's nasty in there now. And this guy's built to do it. Short, quick, and thick. Now he doesn't know if he's in or out. Where are you going, Akeem?
You coming or going? He's a rookie. Give him a break. After a loss of 1, let's see what Cam does on 2nd and 11. Mike Tolbert the back.
Rookie.
Blitz.
Pressure picked up for the moment. Cam's got a hole. There he goes. And he's still going. Down the sideline. Cam Newton to the 15 of Tampa Bay. Deshaun Golson saved the touchdown.
Cam Newton will absolutely smoke you if you do not have discipline in your pass rush. And watch this lane given up. Adrian Claiborne comes flying inside on a pass rush stunt, opens up the edge for Cam Newton, and he is going to give it about 2 seconds, and if he sees an opening, he is off to the race and is going to make you pay.
A 56-yard run from number 1. From the 15 of the Bucs. Jonathan Stewart trying to find room, and he goes nowhere. Maybe loses another yard or 2. Well, every defense has the same goal, Tim. Keep Cam in the pocket, but how long can you hold him there?
Well, it's a mindset as a defensive player. I mean, instinctually, defensive linemen and rushing linebackers, it's about get there, get there. We had to change our game plan every time we played the Detroit Lions and Barry Sanders. You never get past his depth. Otherwise, he's going to hurt you if you go too far in the backfield. Well, Cam Newton's the same way as a quarterback. You got to have a slow, disciplined, controlled pass rush, especially if you got a blitz and man coverage behind you. Big mistake.
That was his longest run of the season. The Panthers' longest run of the season. Now 2nd and 11. Cam Newton ends over the foul. That's a touchdown, Panthers. Fifth touchdown catch of the season for Brandon LaFell.
And that's a busted coverage, and as Cam Newton would like to say, he made the layup. No, you see a little basketball shot right there. That was easy for Cam Newton. It looked like Mark Barron was caught in no man's land on a busted coverage. Nobody even near Brandon LaFell.
A 16-yard touchdown pass. The official wanted to make sure Control of the ball, feed in all the stuff necessary, and confirmed upstairs, as every scoring play is. The extra point. The Panthers respond to the Bucs field goal with 6 and now 7. They're going for 8 straight. Carolina leads at home.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. By Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And by Forza Motorsports 5, exclusively on Xbox One.
Back at Bank of America Stadium and the touchdown toss.
How about the feet of Brandon LaFell? Just tap, tap, touchdown, carries it all the way through the process, past the ground. He is an underrated player, especially when you get him in some of those in-cutting routes to the middle of the field. He uses that big body well.
Graham Gano, who leads the NFL in touchback percentage. Let's see if he gives Eric Page a chance. Waving everybody off, end zone, touchback. Tampa Bay comes up on offense now at the 20-yard line. Let's look at Deshaun Goldson. He made the stop on the Cam Newton run on the big play to get him down there.
Clearly a busted coverage by Goldson. It looks like he filters and puts his eyes in the backfield. You got a zone concept, 3 guys to cover 2. Here's LaFell. Going to rough him up a little bit right there and then turn him loose. And really, Goldson just has no idea that he's running the seam route behind him. That's a big bust and a big breakdown. And Carolina so good when they get down in scoring position.
Goldson's first game back after missing last week with the suspension. Now Glennon, who was 4 out of 4 on the Buccaneers field goal drive, sets to throw on first down. Floats one, and it's nearly intercepted. He was trying to get it to Tim Wright, but Captain Munnerlyn got his hands up, and he had to leap at 5'8" to do it.
And Glennon got blasted by Greg Hardy as he broke contain, got out of the pocket. Watch as he unloads this. You're going to see 76 put a shot on him right there, and Munnerlyn definitely got his hand on it.
Munnerlyn had 9 tackles last week. Here's the shot from the art major, Greg Hardy from Mississippi. They're watching back in Mississippi. The Panthers have a 7-3 lead here. Rainey, nowhere. Knocked back and will lose yardage. Juan Edwards in the middle of that defensive line.
And that's a matchup, I think. I mean, we saw the one good run early. That's the area where Tampa has got to get it right in terms of running the ball. Detroit with Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley, they totally controlled the inside of that run game, and there was no running lanes for Bobby Rainey. Let's see if they can get it better today.
Brian Leonard checks in at running back. On third down, they need to get to the 30.
Huge mismatch there in terms of size.
Benson Jackson in the slot. Glennon on the move. He's airing it out. Tipped in the air and knocked away. Trying to get it to Owusu, but Drayton Florence, the veteran, hung with him on an underthrown ball.
Checking out if the old dog could still hunt. Drayton Florence. Boy, I love the way he got physical right there with Owusu. And he's able to still get enough gas to go make a play on a somewhat underthrown ball from Mike Glennon. Happy for Drayton Florence.
Florence should get more playing time. He's been battling a groin injury, and Ron Rivera would like to get him more, his experience in that secondary, which is in a state of flux. So the defense does its job. Kanan back to punt, standing at the 5 for the Bucs. And Ted Ginn emerging from the shadows. He's got room on the sideline. Here comes a flag as he goes out of bounds. Adam Hayward, special team star for the Bucs, ran him out. We'll check the flag. Ron Winter, our referee.
Now this one looks like it's going to be against Carolina, but if Hayward doesn't get him out, Ginn is still running.
During the return, holding, number 24 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That call is on Josh Norman. That'll push the Panthers back just a bit. Tampa Bay's Mike Lennon, who will celebrate his 24th birthday 11 days from now on December the 12th. Greg Schiano, the head coach in his second year, surviving quite a storm early. His team has won 3 straight from the 28-yard line.
Rookie.
On first down, Cam Newton with time. And gets rid of it in the area of Ted Ginn. Last week against the Dolphins, to keep the streak alive, Cam Newton had to survive an early hit from Cameron Wake. There was no penalty called. Wake was later fined by the league. He wound up biting his lip, spitting up blood, does not wear a mouthpiece despite concerns from his mother asking him to do that. He prefers not to.
Got to keep that grill straight, man.
You want to see that smile. Now, I know some quarterbacks worry about a mouthpiece because barking out the signals, it gets in the way of their communication.
We've seen some quarterbacks, including Alex Smith, wear that mouthpiece on the bottom teeth. So it gives them the protection, but it doesn't restrict their ability to verbalize.
Pass is chipped away. It'll bring a third down. Pressure on Cam Newton by Daniel Teo-Nessheim, knocked to the ground. Nessheim has outplayed Daquan Bowers at that end spot for the Bucs.
And that's really hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you select a guy, and look, no indictment on Teo-Nessheim. He's a pretty good player. When you select a guy as high as you drafted Daquan Bowers that came with his pedigree, they missed because he hasn't been able to really provide anything in terms of a legitimate pass rush.
Cam Newton 3 out of 6 so far on 3rd and 10.
Here we go, right here. Steve Smith, 3rd down monster, matched up on Leonard Johnson.
Cam Newton's throw is too high, and it's intercepted. Picked off. It's a takeaway for the Bucs. Keith Tandy, the backup safety, got the overthrow.
Well, Cam Newton's late on this throw, and you can see his body rotation isn't where he wants it to be. The ball sails on him, up off the hands of Brandon LaFell, and it's those type of interceptions in the zone coverage that Tampa's been doing for years, and certainly over the last couple of weeks, takeaways have been huge for them. Opportunistic, bad throw.
They have 23 takeaways. That's 4th in the league. They had 12 in November, which led the National Football League.
I think a big part of that is the ball, Chris, not coming out on time.
And the Carolina defense doing its part to push the Buccaneers back as it's spotted at the 34-yard line of Carolina.
Now, one thing I think about Cam Newton, and we've seen it this year multiple times, is this guy's got selective amnesia. He can recover from a bad play and continue to throttle you late in games with big plays. He gets over his mistakes a lot faster than he used to.
On 2nd down, 12, Rainey knocked down at the 36-yard line by Greg Hardy, who's playing the run very well. Hardy, who likes to think of himself, we have a flag down here.
Well, he's got his mouthpiece in. Get those rock shots.
They're pointing in the direction of the Bucs. Tampa Bay, the most penalized team in the NFL. Most penalized yards of any team.
Holding. Offense number 83. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Hardy leading the cheers. The call on Vincent Jackson, the veteran receiver, one of the captains for the Bucs.
And here's the hold here. Here's Vincent Jackson. Yeah, a lot of people have to hold those linebackers. That was A.J. Klein that he just held, couldn't get to the ball.
They're trying to figure out spotting the ball exactly with the penalty yardage. It'll be 2nd down.
That's a big penalty in terms of field goal opportunities, pushing them out of that zone.
Spotted at the 44. On 2nd down for Mike Lennon. Bobby Rainey inside, gets knocked down around the 42-yard line. Their top pick, Star Lutulele, clogging the middle.
That is a great play from Star Lotulele, and being able to recognize that it's not a pass. Here he is, he's thinking pass. Now watch him disengage off of two guys, fall back into the spot, and make a tackle just past the line of scrimmage. Nice.
It's 3rd and 19 for the Bucs. Pressure on Glennon. Pass toward the 35-yard line to Tim Wright, where it'll be 4th down. Luke Kuechly was on him.
And Dewan Edwards was on Mike Glennon. And if he doesn't get there, Glennon could do a bunch of different things. Hold the ball, threaten the line of scrimmage, be a runner, get him closer to field goal range. Dewan Edwards not on his watch. Good job.
Ryan Lindell is going to try a field goal. He has made a 56-yarder in his career. He hit from 27 earlier today. This from 53 yards. Somehow he worked it through. The Buccaneers inch a little bit closer, but the Panthers still holding a 1-point lead. Ryan Lindell, he just kind of clipped the upright, but it went through. His second 50-yard field goal this season, and it just bounced right. 21 in his career, and after he had missed his last 2 prior to this game, Greg Schiano showed confidence in him.
I would too. You're outside. This guy, he was in a dome, 70 degrees last week in Detroit. This guy's always been a terrific outdoor kicker, Seattle and Buffalo for years.
And a touchback from Michael Kanan. Panthers will start at the 20. Saturday, it's the Big Ten Championship on Fox. 3rd-ranked Ohio State taking on 11th-ranked Michigan State to see which team will earn an automatic bid to a BCS bowl game. Our coverage of the Big Ten Championship Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. You'll see it on Fox. It's great college football yesterday. I know that Cam Newton was happy about Auburn's win. Greg Schiano will be
How
happy.
did Rutgers do yesterday? Oh, I didn't see it.
All their players are on Tampa Bay or New England.
Or New England, right.
They're former players. Jonathan Stewart remains the back. If you tuned in a little bit late, D'Angelo Williams inactive with that quad thigh bruise. Stewart gets the carry, trying to get outside. Gets away from Levante David, and at least gets something out of nothing before Mark Barron makes the play. Let's check in for a game break.
Tom Brady and the Patriots down 10-0 at Houston. Make that 10-7. Rob Gronkowski, sweet catch. 23 yards on the score. That cuts it to 10-7. Patriots' first half touchdown since week 9, Chris and Tim.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Look at the touchdown totals for Tom Brady. Mark Barron making the play. And now it's 2nd down 7. As Tolbert is the running back for Stewart. He gets the carry. There was a hole, but it closed in a hurry. And Tolbert playing with a hamstring and aggravated knee.
You're going to run inside. We've already talked about Akeem Spence a little bit. He's going up against the best center in pro football in Ryan Khalil. And watch how he holds his own in there against that double team. 0 movement on Akeem Spence. And Jonathan Stewart really had nowhere to go. The linebackers clean to go clean it up. Well done inside.
Just over a minute to go in the opening quarter. Now 3rd down and 6 for the Panthers. Steve Smith lines up in between a couple of areas in motion now. Going to the right of Cam Newton. Cam Newton has time. Can he find anybody open? Up near the 30-yard line, up near a 1st down.
It looks like he's going to be just short from the spot up here.
Jonathan Casillas finally got to him, but he outran Levante David and Adrian Claiborne.
Cam Newton at times, as spectacular as he is, Chris, and I talked a little bit about it in the open, it looks like they're going to be short they would love to see him be a quicker decision maker, get the ball out on time and be accurate. There was some guys open in the underneath coverage that were past the first down sticks.
And Ron Rivera not going for it on 4th and inches. He told us the nickname Riverboat Ron, he prefers the analytical guy is what he prefers when it comes to those decisions. 7 out of 9 on 4th downs this year. And of course the big ones last week when they trailed against the Dolphins and pulled out their 7th straight win. So Nordman at his 15. Eric Page, fair catch called for at the 15 of the Bucs. A 56-yard punt. And Mike Glennon and the Bucs take over. Well, you know, you can talk about a team in the, there's Riverboat Ron. That sells better than the analytical guy. That sounds like a Jim Carrey movie or something like that. Well, the Panthers have playoffs on their mind. For the Bucs, it's not next year. They're thinking about winning games, but it's certainly in terms of the playoff picture. But in a divisional matchup, this is a key game in terms of tiebreakers for Carolina, no matter what happens with the Saints coming up.
Absolutely, and the mindset of Tampa Bay, misery loves company. We're not going, neither are you, is what they're thinking right now with the Carolina Panthers. Riverboat Ron. Oh, I love that.
On first down, Glennon rolling and throwing and has Taquan Underwood for a first down up near the 28-yard line, and that'll bring an end to the opening quarter.
That was a dart from Mike Glennon.
After one, with a couple of streaks on the line, the Panthers lead the Bucs by 1. Tampa Bay has the football. First overall pick in his 3rd year, and then a 3rd-round pick this year in his 9th game in the NFL as a starter, as Glennon leads the Bucs after that completion, good for 12 and a first down. Bobby Rainey remains the back as we open the second quarter. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, glad to have you watching the NFL on Fox from Charlotte, North Carolina. Rainey hits the hole hard, goes up to the 30-yard line. Luke Kuechly makes the tackle. And you want to put in perspective here to get a sense of what Glennon has done in his first 8 games as an NFL quarterback. He has thrown more touchdown passes than a couple of other guys who have headlined their teams.
Absolutely. Now, Robert Griffin III, we know that he continued to catapult to the next level as their season went forward last year. I think one thing that's been huge for Mike Glennon is once Coach Schiano looked at him and said, look, you're the guy. He's played completely different.
Nothing happening there. Here comes a flag at the middle of the field. Kyle Adams, a recently signed tight end, was in the area, along with Tim Wright.
Illegal contact. Defense number 59. A 5-yard penalty and a first down.
The flag called on Luke Kuechly, and this one is not getting picked up.
And yeah, here's Kuechly right here, and let's watch him get into his pass drop on the tight end. Tim Wright runs it out and up. I couldn't see any contact from that angle.
And you couldn't see it, but that's the one the penalty is called up.
And no, it wasn't a makeup call that he's been owed one for 2 weeks. Don't think that.
Only umpires do that, right? On first down, Arrogant out. He's got a step. He's got it. It's Vincent Jackson, and knocked down inside the 5-yard line of Carolina.
I'll tell you what, if you were going to press this big man and every bit of 6'5" Vincent Jackson, you better slow him down, and he's going to take the inside release right there away from Drayton Florence. Bad angle from the safety and help Quentin Michael, and Vincent Jackson on a big go route. As I said earlier, quietly having a fantastic season is Vincent Jackson.
His 59th catch leads the team. After a 60-yard pass play, it's first and goal Buccaneers. They bring in the extra lineman.
Now they need to finish with a touchdown, not field goals on this drive. Coach Schiano talked about that last night.
Bobby Rainey into the pile and goes nowhere. And Kuechly stuffs the middle. Florence, even though he got beat, Tim, he saved a touchdown, reaching out and grabbing the foot, or at least knocking Vincent Jackson down.
What did Ron Rivera tell us the other night? One thing we can't do is get beat up over the top and get beat over our heads. It almost cost him the game last week at Miami. Huge emphasis all week long that we're not going to give up the big one over our head. They come out here, the second quarter is barely getting going, and they give up a big one over their head.
You saw those numbers. They're the best in the NFL of giving up the fewest points. But the Bucs are on the doorstep. Glennon, end zone throw, incomplete. He was trying to get it to Underwood, out of bounds.
And McMichael caught that, intercepted it, Quentin Michael, but he was clearly out of bounds once he did. A pretty darn good throw. Glennon dropping it in the bucket. Watch this thing come down right on Underwood.
In his hands.
In his hands, and then Quentin Michael ripped it out, but he was out of bounds. Boy, I'm impressed with Mike Glennon.
Yeah, he throws a nice spiral, and not only did Chiano say, you're our quarterback now, you're our quarterback going forward, and Glennon said that took a lot of pressure off. There's pressure now on 3rd and goal from the 4. Mike Glennon is on the move. He loses the football. And the Panthers have it. Dewan Edwards has the fumble recovery for the Panthers.
What an error.
A rookie quarterback who has been complimented for not turning the ball over.
And he just cocked his arm to throw it, and the pigskin just fell out, slipped out of his hand before he could load it up.
He literally lost the handle. For rookie Mike Glennon, as Greg Schiano talks to him, his 6th fumble, but only the 3rd one he's lost.
And hard to speculate whether his hand was sweaty and wet. I mean, his hands are big enough. We talked to him last night. He's 6'7". He's got big hands. He's got a good grip on that football. It just simply slipped out as he tried to load it up.
You're at least in field goal range if you're the Bucs on 3rd down if you get nothing, but they take it away, and the Panthers have it from their own 19-yard line. Cam Newton with the screen. Jonathan Stewart maybe gets a yard. Jonathan Casillas making the stop, along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and Cam Newton with a 56-yard run got the Panther offense going.
And then finished it with a big touchdown to Brandon LaFell. Wide open, busted coverage by the Tampa Bay defense.
But other than that, the Bucs defense has done a pretty good job, and the running game, which I know you have said that Ron Rivera wants to get going, has yet to gear up without D'Angelo Williams. Jonathan.
They have slammed any opportunity shut so far in this game with Carolina running the football.
To throw and complete. That's Steve Smith, who slips out of 2 tacklers, but is brought down right away across the 35-yard line.
That's what Cam Newton can do from the pocket when he makes his mind up and is decisive on where he wants to go. I mean, his body posture standing tall in the pocket. You got Steve Smith matched up. Look at the footwork. Matched up on Darrelle Revis, and he just drives it right to the face mask. Big time throw.
And without a huddle, they go right to the line. First down, Panthers. Cam Newton from the pocket. LaFell has it. Near another first down, the rookie corner Jonathan Banks right with him.
So you had a good illustration on the last play of Cam's mind and decision making. Here you get a great example of his arm strength. That is a tough throw versus man coverage out on the perimeter. Another laser from Cam Newton.
And that is a first down. This is some, Tim, of what we saw against Miami in the second half with offensive coordinator Mike Shula running the hurry up, giving Cam a few plays to choose from at the line and making the call. He escapes and wisely throws it out of bounds. Mason Foster came up the middle for the Bucs on defense.
And Jonathan Stewart, I believe it was Jonathan in protection, just saved Cam Newton from getting sacked. Just got enough, just enough on Mason Foster coming right up the gut. There's the block, takes his thigh out. Cam he's Houdini in the pocket.
You
now.
Just can't bring him down.
No, if you get your hands on him, doesn't mean you got him. Good help there from Jonathan Stewart for him, though.
He checks out on 2nd and 10 from the 47 of Carolina. Mike Tolbert is in. to Tolbert. Tolbert with a first down. Inside the 40 of the Bucs. The bowling ball kept on rolling.
Really good job by Cam, just being a football player. Golston right in his face, just flips it out right there to big Mike Tolbert. The bowling ball, boof, runs over Revis, picks up a first down.
A gain of 14, looked like it was over at 7. LaFell in the backfield. Cam Newton on the move. Incomplete for Ted Ginn. Let's check in again with Jennifer Hale down on the field. Jennifer?
Well, Chris, I spoke with Mike Tolbert pregame about how that knee and hamstring were doing, and he told me, you know, it's really more the knee than the hamstring. And even though it's not 100%, he's put in tons of extra hours this week rehabbing it to make sure it was ready. He told me he felt confident that he could play and do well today, and clearly that's showing on the field, Chris.
Yeah, Jen, he's one of the more popular players, one of the veteran leaders. When he left San Diego, he could have re-signed there for more money, wanted to come back to the Southeast from Georgia, went to school at Coastal Carolina, helping to carry the load with Jonathan Stewart, minus D'Angelo Williams today. On second down, Tolbert to carry. Tolbert with another first down, motoring inside the 25. Before Mark Barron knocked him down.
I love the adjustment. You talked about Mike Shula and the up-tempo. Some of the things they did in the second half against Miami last week, it's not taking them as much time to adjust. They've changed the concepts up. They got the outside running game going. There's Coach Shula right there, the offensive coordinator. And you start hitting those outside bounce power plays, and you can pull Ryan Khalil, the center, out there in space. Really nice.
Jonathan Stewart comes in. It's trying to get loose, but can't. Run out of bounds. It'll be second down for the Panthers. Jonathan Stewart missed his first 7 games with a foot injury. So this is his ankle injury, I should say, his 5th straight game since he has come back. Second all-time leading rusher behind D'Angelo Williams in this franchise.
I think we all forget what a load he is in terms of how thick and how powerful. And his quickness is there. Have not seen any good holes provided for him on the interior yet so far in this game. It's coming. I'm telling you, he is close to popping a big one.
27. Set.
Stewart inside the 20. It'll bring up third down. Daniel Teonessa making the initial stop, or at least slowing him down. Ryan Khalil, the center, helping Cam Newton in this offense after he was hurt much of last year.
And what an asset to have him back and his leadership in the locker room. Talking to Coach Rivera, he said Khalil was huge at halftime last week in terms of getting that team to wake up. They sleptwalked through the first half. Ryan Khalil's really, really good, a special player in this league.
3rd and 8. Steve Smith is at the bottom of your screen with Darrelle Revis. Newton, middle of the field. That is a 1st and goal. Greg Olsen inside the 10-yard line of the Bucs.
That is terrific ball location in terms of the accuracy from Cam Newton. Greg Olsen's going to come from here. Man coverage, he's going to want to run a square in, but watch the accuracy and where this ball is low and on the body, right on the chest plate, where only Greg Olsen can go get it.
Cam Newton is 8 out of 14. He has the touchdown pass.
They are picking apart this man coverage now.
From the 9-yard line, the 11th play of the drive.
Set.
Jonathan Stewart down near the 5. Looked like there was a hole, but it closed in a hurry. And Levante David coming up to make the tackle.
Give Levante David a lot of credit. He's an outstanding player. He's at a size disadvantage against Jonathan Stewart. As good as Levante David is, and he'll get credit for that tackle, he just got trucked by Jonathan Stewart.
3 tight ends in from the 5-yard line for Ron Rivera on 2nd and goal. Let's see how Schiano's defense plays it. Brandon LaFell goes to the top of your screen.
One wide receiver. Watch out for Greg Olsen.
Cam Newton has it. So the end zone incomplete. And no flags. Olsen was back there. It looked like Adrian Claiborne was covering her.
That's right.
The defensive end.
It was, and Cam wanted to go there initially. Greg Olsen was his primary. What they do is they get out there and they get all the heavy tight ends, one wide receiver. They make you think run, and then they get him out in a passing route. Claiborne does a really good job. You can watch Cam's eyes. He wanted him. He wanted him. Did not want to risk it with Claiborne out there. You know what? Maybe the old Cam Newton would have forced that ball in there. He's so much better in terms of his decision-making and managing those risks now.
On third down.
Right side floor.
Cam Newton fires incomplete. That was for Tolbert inside the 5, and it'll be fourth down. And here comes Graham Gano. You could feel the momentum shift after the fumble by Glennon. Panthers march downfield but stall, and so a field goal try of 23 yards to make it a 4-point Panther lead. Carolina gets to 10. They're giving up less than 14 a game. They lead it 10-6. Along with Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hale down on the field. Chris Myers with 6:23 to go before the half here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Bank of America Stadium. Cam Newton has led his team to a 10-6 advantage, and Graham Gano just made the field goal ready to kick off. Page waving everybody away. It's a touchback, Tampa Bay. Mike Glennon, who's 7 of 10, 125 yards so far, will lead the Bucs on offense. He had the costly fumble and had his coach doing that.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado, strong for all the roads ahead.
We've mentioned the name of Levante David and Luke Kuechly. Second-year linebackers actually got to work out together at the combine, know each other, respect each other's talents, and doing the job for their team. That's Eric Lorig, the fullback, who is brought down in a hurry. A.J. Klein, a rookie linebacker, says, hey, what about me? But Kuechly...
not yet. You're not in that class yet, bud. Fifth-round pick playing well, but Luke Kuechly is an absolute monster in the middle. In terms of his range, his motor is fueled by desire. He wants more in terms of his football intelligence. Needs to get a little bit better in coverage. I think we can all realize that. But if this guy does make any mistakes, they're always mistakes at about 110 miles an hour.
Second down. Brady. It'll be third and long for the Bucs. They want short with the stop. Mike Glennon, by the way, has set the Tampa Bay franchise record for most passing yards by a rookie quarterback. You saw the early numbers. He's been piling up since he got his first start in the 4th game of the year. 3rd and 10. 0 for 4 on third down so far.
Long down and distance is where these guys have a chance to get there.
Here's a flag, and Glennon goes down. Greg Hardy.
Illegal shift. 2-man moving prior to the snap, did not reset. That penalty is declined. Makes it 4th down.
Greg Hardy is not a one-trick pony, and when I say that, he can run the corner, and he's got a counter move inside that can crush people upfield and inside of Donald Penn right there. Great hand usage, and then he finishes on Mike Glennon. Of course, what set it all up was being 3rd and 10. You're 3rd and 10, the quarterback's got to hold the ball a little longer, receivers got to flash open. Your pass rush has a chance to get there. That was good.
That's Hardy's 7th sack of the season. Charles Johnson, who's missed the last 2 games, leads the Panthers with 8.5 in that area. He'll be back next week against the Saints, according to Ron Rivera. And we have a whistle. A delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
That'll push Michael Cannon further back in the end zone. Another penalty on Greg Schiano's team. And
then you got the beast, Ted Ginn, sitting back there, who's year after year one of the better returners in pro football, sitting at about midfield.
Kick is out of there clean. Back at the 40-yard line of Carolina is Ginn. Trying to find some room and gets into Tampa Bay territory. An 11-yard return after a 54-yard punt. But the Panthers on a win streak, a lot to be excited about. Cam Newton has been conquering. In fact, the last 3 games they've needed to rally in the 4th quarter to win to keep that streak at 7, and 8 would be a franchise best. When somebody asked Ron Rivera about Coach of the Year candidate, he said, I'm more worried about us being Team of the Year. And they have the football in Tampa Bay territory, just over 4 minutes.
See if they take a shot. Steve Smith, Jonathan Banks, the rookie.
Kentucky.
Good spot in the field to throw one up.
Kentucky.
Revis on the other side of the field for a change. Cam Newton is going deep. LaFell. Oh, a bit too long. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt?
Well, rookie Cordero Patterson leads the NFL in kick returns, so the Vikings want to get him more involved in the offense. Smart plan. Out of the backfield, he takes it. 33 yards later, the Vikings have a 7-3 lead over the Bears. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. After LaFell was open,
Was he ever?
Pass.
Was he ever? And Steve Smith was all alone at the top on Jonathan Banks. I don't think Revis at the bottom expected LaFell to go on a deep post route. He did. He was open. Cam overthrew him.
Ted Ginn has it. A receiver screen. He's got it first down. Inside the 40, Mark Barron knocks him down of Tampa Bay.
Tell you one guy who's got to get it in gear, I think, is Gerald McCoy. And look, I think he's playing as good or better than any defensive tackles in pro football. True defensive tackles. He and Ndamukong Suh for the Detroit Lions. But Cam Newton has thrown the football 18 times in this game. And you've got to get inside gut pressure on Cam Newton. Gerald McCoy in a very good matchup against Nate Chandler today at right guard has been unable so far, Chris, to get that done.
McCoy beat up physically in that Detroit Lion game last week. After a gain of 11 on first down. Screen the other way. That's the tight end, Greg Olsen. Olsen inside the 10 of the Bucs. A well-designed, well-executed play, a 30-yard gain.
And at the right time, as defensive lineman, you're dying to get Cam Newton to the ground. So here comes the screen game. Right out here to Greg Olsen from the backside, and watch who's out there leading the way. There's nobody even in the area code for Greg Olsen, but you got Ryan Khalil, the center, who runs as fast as just about everybody on the field. 67 right there, leading the way for Greg Olsen.
From the 8-yard line.
Set. What do you need?
The pitch to Jonathan Stewart. Some tough yards down inside the 5. Mason Foster with the tackle.
You talked about Brandon LaFell and everything he does in this offense. As a big receiver, guy in the middle of the field. Watch this dig out crack block on Deshaun Goldson. And that's the guy that really creates the edge so Jonathan Stewart can get it out there and get it inside the 5-yard line.
It'll be 2nd and goal from the 3. Clock winding down. Each team with 3 timeouts. The Panthers in control. They're going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning. Already with a 10-6 advantage. How much more will Cam Newton and the Panthers get against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You're watching the NFL on Fox from Charlotte, North Carolina. from the 3-yard line. 3 tight ends in for the Panthers.
Yeah, and watch out. Look at those numbers for Cam Newton in his first 3 years. Good time right here for that quarterback power or a run pass option. Let Cam get in there and try to get in there with his legs.
Tolbert straight ahead into a pile. It'll be 3rd and goal. Remember, we're under 2 minutes, so all reviews initiated from the officials' booth upstairs. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. Jerry Richardson, the owner and former player in the National Football League.
Who that is?
Carolina owner.
Ernie Accorsi, former general manager of the New York Giants for years and years.
Well, remember how touchy things were at 1 and 3, and Ron Rivera was on the ropes early in the year. 7 straight wins will clear that up. Tolbert. It's going to be 4th down. Number 35, Mike Tolbert on the carry.
I think 2 missed opportunities to keep the ball in your best player's hands.
Now let's see if he's going to go for it or not. Remember, he said he plays percentages. I'm going to let the clock run. Of course, you can always go for it. If you miss it, you pin Tampa Bay back there with your timeouts.
No, I'm never chasing points early in games. Riverboat Ron or not. Check the analytics. Take the points.
That's what they're going to let the clock run down. Visa halftime report is coming up with all the highlights of games going on, including the Eagles and Cardinals. We do have a timeout, and Carolina called it, so they'll have 2 remaining. Well, we knew the way the Panthers defense was playing, giving up less. Thoughts on, I guess, the turnovers and how that has affected things when teams are down in the red zone.
Well, clearly both teams have played well down in the red zone in terms of the defenses. This is the 5th time down inside the scoring area. When you collectively put 2 teams together, there's been 1 touchdown. I think 2 missed opportunities to give Cam Newton the ball there on 2nd and 3rd down. And it looks like they're going to be out there and they're going to go for it here on 4th down. I would just take the points and go up by a touchdown.
Ron Rivera chooses otherwise. If you were going to do that, maybe leave a little more time in case you stop them. But let's see. 30 seconds to go. The Bucs are going to, looks like they're going to use a timeout on defense. Greg Schiano wanted to determine the call. So this is an interesting call from Ron Rivera going for it on 4th and inches. American Idol looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., and Ryan Seacrest. That's quite a panel there as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season yet begins Wednesday, January 15th on Fox.
Did you just say J-Lo's back?
J-Lo's back?
Yeah, well, I'm back then. You watching American Idol every week.
Watch it. So how about this call?
I don't ever want to chase points, especially in the first half of games. You got an opportunity to kick a field goal. Ron knows way more about it than I do. He's got obviously great trust in his football team. I would not give the opportunity for Tampa to change the momentum if they can get a stop here, to fuel them for the second half.
But he's got Cam Newton, and he can run it, he can throw it. He's got it, straight ahead dive, ball's out. Bucs have it. It's a touchdown. It was ruled a touchdown as soon as Cam crossed the goal line. Even though the ball came out, and the booth will review it.
Absolutely. You said it. And let's just watch the tip of the football. It's just got across the vertical plane of the goal line. Oh, that's easy. Yep. Touchdown.
And the official quickly ruled touchdown.
Look at the athleticism of Cam Newton. Are you kidding me? That's the play they should have called on 2nd down.
I think Riverboat Ron, analytical guy, whatever you want to call him. And maybe that's why this team has won 7 straight. He has the pulse of his players.
See that poker face?
Well, it's early. And maybe the Bucs knew it was coming. They just couldn't get to it as quickly as they wanted.
And Ron knows it. Last week they did the same thing against Miami. They came out in the second half last week, turned Cam loose. They ran that quarterback power for a touchdown, and it really fueled them for the rest of the game.
Replay, of course, upstairs. They're taking a look. All scoring plays to be confirmed, but it clearly showed
What a superstar. Watch his lift as Cam Newton goes up. Those big old hands on the ball, clearly over the plane of the goal line before Darrelle Revis knocks it out. I guess if I had that guy and I was Ron Rivera, I'd be going for it too.
At 6'5", he has thrown for a touchdown today and rushed for one.
I don't care what your cards say, you're always holding the royal flush when Cam's out there.
He's got a It is a touchdown after further review, just to be sure. Fans always want the coach to go for it. They're behind him here. As Gano's extra point will give Carolina an 11-point lead. So now it's 20 games in Cam Newton's career where he has thrown for a touchdown pass and run for a touchdown. Cam Gano kicking off. And again, touchback after Ron Rivera goes on 4th and inches instead of settling for 3. Cam Newton into the end zone, the touchdown run to go with his toss, and that's why it is 17-6.
Is he going to leap from about the +2 yard line there?
He does look like a Michael Jordan
when he
dunk.
used to dip from the free throw.
And he often talks about when he wears that towel on the sideline. Cam Newton says, you know, Michael Jordan used to do that, and he's been a kind of a big brother influence to me here in the same city where they have a chance to cross paths. But it's a different Cam Newton. Despite an earlier interception, he overcame that, and that's been the Cam Newton this year, handling adversity. And now with a 17-6 lead, they trailed at the half last week, had to rally against Miami, but in control at home.
I think you said it. I mean, the guy doesn't hang his head when he makes a mistake, and he's been able to recover from that interception he threw early in the game. He's the most athletic player on the field when you look at everything he can do, and his legs once again have been a huge asset today.
Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. Cam ahead of everybody in this game. A 56-yard run when it looked like the Buccaneers had him bottled up.
And put that on the defensive line. They got a blitz called behind them. They have got to be more disciplined in their rush lanes. And then it finishes that long run. Cam capitalizes with a touchdown with Brandon LaFell. And then here's the layout shot for a touchdown. 4th and inches. Cam Newton over the top. Another touchdown for Cam.
Greg Hardy with his 7th sack in that first half. And the turnovers are even so far, but the Mike Glennon fumble when they were in the red zone really flipped it.
That's the one. And Mike Glennon really started this game well. He started 4 for 4. He was picking some of the things apart in terms of the coverage. He was seeing it all. They were in a great position down in scoring position, and he's rolling out to the left, buying time. And the ball just slips out of his hands. An early Christmas gift for the Carolina Panthers.
Tampa Bay has run for a total of 16 yards in this first half. And you're going to have to overcome a guy who's red hot at the table here. Ron Rivera with his guy, Cam Newton, his dealer, who is delivering when he needs him, especially down around the end zone. Tampa Bay will get the ball to start the second half. They trail here in Carolina. Let's head to Kurt Menefee and the Visa halftime report. Getting ready to start the second half. Cam Newton, a touchdown pass to Brandon LaFell, and then on 4th down, leaping into the end zone. Graham Gano has added a field goal, and that's how they got their 17. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. For Tampa Bay, field goals, they've had opportunities. Eric Page back to return. Mr. Touchback with the highest percentage of touchbacks in the NFL this season. Graham Gano does it once again. Hello, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and glad to have you watching. These Panthers going for their 8th straight, which set a franchise record. The Buccaneers, a little mini streak of their own. What do they have to do offensively to get back into this game?
Well, I think they got to stay patient, and that really is the quarterback, Mike Glennon. We're going to find out about him in this half. They have been unable to run the football. No fruits of their labor with their run blocking up front. I don't see it getting much better. Glennon's got to take what Carolina gives them on defense, which is going to be a lot of short to intermediate routes. Vincent Jackson has got to be more involved, his best receiver.
Jackson has 1 catch in the game as Rainey carries across the 20. Kuechly making the tackle. Let's head down to Jen Hale.
Well, Chris, I asked Ron Rivera about his decision to go for it on 4th down just before the half, and he said, you know, my guys were playing confidently. They sounded confident on the sideline. I didn't feel like the score reflected how well we were playing, so I wanted to give them one more shot before the half. Meanwhile, Coach Schiano describes Glennon as frustrated and aggravated about that fumble. Nothing technical, just plain slip, Chris.
All right, going for it on 4th. When you're hot, you're hot. And that's what the Panthers are, as Rainey gets a first down across the 37-yard line. What a run on 2nd down and 9. That's the best run of the day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it looks like Mike Mitchell getting a little hot back there in the secondary.
Watch the block by Zuta right here on Cole and Cole. Watch him widen him out. That allows Lorig to get down inside as a lead blocker on Kuechly. Too much space for Kuechly to be able to defend Rainey coming right up the gut, but it all started with their best player at this point up front, Jeremy Zuta, opening up a big hole.
A gain of 16 from the 37-yard line. It's Rainey again. Finds another hole. Gets up near the 47-yard line, near another first down. He's one of those players. The Buccaneers have 12 players, Tim, that have been on this active roster, signed off of waivers or off of other teams or their own practice squad, and yet Greg Schiano has been able to keep it together for 3 straight wins.
What I appreciate about Coach Schiano is his staff. They are coaching this team according to what they have, right? Isn't that what the great coaches do? They have modified what they do. You talk about the running back, Bobby Rainey, hadn't been here a long time. They have reduced and simplified their run game, and it's paid off.
Glennon trying to throw it, and the ball flutters in the air, and it's going to be intercepted, but there's a flag down as Mike Mitchell goes down with the football.
And it's either Drayton Florence holding Vincent Jackson from coming back, or Vincent Jackson pushing off on Drayton Florence. Huge error if this is on Drayton Florence in Carolina.
The flag came out before the ball was intercepted. And Mike Mitchell had the pick.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference. The ball is intercepted well beyond, in front of the contact.
Another flag thrown, another flag picked up. Ball's in the air, ball's intercepted. Panthers football.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the new 2014 Dodge Durango. By K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by T-Mobile. Unleash.
Just down the road from NASCAR's Hall of Fame, congratulations to Jimmy Johnson, Rick Hendrick Motorsports on their championship season, and Mike Glennon and Greg Schiano still upset about a flag on what looked like a catchable.
They should be upset.
That was picked up. Kenyon Barner checks in at running back for the Panthers. And he gets the pitch, the rookie. Clarify this, Tim, for us.
Well, Vincent Jackson, I like the fact that Glennon's going to him, but the officials had deemed it really uncatchable because the ball was short and there was contact and the ball was intercepted before the contact. That's totally untrue. I think it is a catchable ball. There was contact before the interception. Vincent Jackson did not have an opportunity to come back to the football. I was always under the inference and Mike Pereira that if it's reasonably short, like not too far short, it's always catchable. That was a catchable football. Bad ball.
Newton on 2nd down to Tolbert, who fights to get a first down and spins up to the 36-yard line. Let's continue on that because there is clarification. I know Dean Blandino this week talked to officials about clarification on catching a football. What is a catch? What's not a catch? We got to get clarification on when a flag is thrown, what's interference, what's not interference. It used to be clear cut.
Yeah, I think we know that. But in terms of it being short or being long, I think when they say that it was short and he couldn't come back to it, they are interpreting it that the receiver had no chance to come back to the football. And you could see by watching that, you could see by watching the play in the Patriot game against Kuechly and Carolina when they picked up that flag. Same situation. Those receivers don't ever take for granted that they can't come back to a short football. They can.
Cam Newton's pass to Greg Olsen. He's got a lot of running room. And he's down inside the 40 of Tampa Bay. This all set up by Mike Mitchell's 4th interception of the season after the flag was picked up. And Cam Newton with a 28-yard connection in a groove with this offense.
How about this secondary? How about Mike Mitchell? How about these guys that are making plays for the Carolina defense? Watch this block. Dominic Hickson's going to lay out right here. Bang on Levante David for Greg Olsen.
Hickson, the former Giant, getting rave reviews from Cam Newton about the way he has contributed as a blocking receiver. From the 36 of the Bucs, Cam Newton sideline and open. He's got it. Ted Ginn for a touchdown, Carolina. "36 yards.
Well, Darrelle Revis, what do they say? Bite the cheese, take the cheese. He took every bit of it. Stop and go route from Ted Ginn. He's going to come off the line of scrimmage. He's going to stop, chop his feet. Watch Revis break on the ball like he's going to get an interception. You have one misstep against Ted Ginn. Forget it. Deshaun Goldson late getting over the top. Perfect throw from Cam Newton.
4th touchdown catch of the season for Ted Ginn, who has revived his receiving skills with Cam Newton of the Panthers as Graham Gano comes on for the extra point.
This looks like it could be a real statement second half for the Carolina Panthers. They get ready to make this huge run towards the postseason, hopefully, for them.
They blew out the Buccaneers in their first divisional meeting on a Thursday night that the Bucs said was embarrassing and that they didn't bring enough physical attitude. At least that's what McCoy was saying. And with Gano's extra point, it's now 24-6, but a controversial play set it all up. Cam Newton of the Panthers able to take advantage. Ron Rivera shaking hands with anybody he can find. The last 3 possessions on offense, field goal, touchdown, touchdown. And his defense with a takeaway, setting it all up. And the Panthers in position to pull away if the Bucs don't respond here.
And he's seen his quarterback make some really nice throws out of the pocket in this game.
Touchback. Tampa Bay will start on the 20-yard line. Mike Glennon, who came in as one of the red-hot quarterbacks in the league, not just as rookies, had this on 3rd down in the red zone that the Panthers came up with, that lost fumble. And then here, underthrown. The flag came out before the Mike Mitchell interception, but the flag was picked up.
You know, I got to wonder if, I mean, he's wearing a wristband. You could just see him feeling his hand. And, I mean, the one clearly slipped out of his hand. And then that ball, something happened as he released it. That came out funny. I wonder if he's got slick hands with the sweat.
Bobby Rainey not slick enough to get away from A.J. Klein. 5th-round draft pick from Iowa State, who's playing like Luke Kuechly. That's one thing I know Ron Rivera, who played linebacker himself in his days with Chicago, said, I like all our linebackers to be able to play other linebacker positions, to be interchangeable. Rivera on that same Chicago Bears staff, briefly, Dave Wannstedt was the head coach, now the special teams coach at Tampa Bay, and Greg Schiano was the defensive backs coach for the Bears in the late 90s. Glennon on 2nd down. He's got Tim Wright. Wright's 2nd catch of the game. Let's check in with Kurt for an update.
Well, the Eagles starting to roll against Arizona. Nick Foles hooks up with Zach Ertz. 2nd score for Ertz today. 3rd touchdown pass for Foles. He's got 19 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 24-7 lead. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Tim, you and I had the pleasure of doing the game when he threw 7 touchdown passes, Nick Foles, against the Raiders to equal an NFL record.
And we said it that day, you can't go back to Mike Vick. I think everybody's finally starting to figure that out.
Including Mike Vick. Now 3rd and 4 for Glennon. Bucs try to play catch-up. He's got time. That's high, but it's caught. Chris Owusu, the reserve receiver, free agent from Stanford, pushed up in the rotation because of injuries at that position, makes the catch.
Owusu out of the slot, running inside. Boy, wide open. Outside
was Underwood.
Wide open. Glennon never saw him. He holds the ball and waits. Not a very accurate throw, but Owusu goes up and makes a big-time play for him on third down.
After a 20-yard gain, they're up at the 46 of Tampa Bay. Hand off Rainey. He works his way inside the 45 with a knockback in Carolina territory.
Well, they have found something here in the third quarter. I did not anticipate them being able to come out and run the ball against this Carolina front in the second half. Watch how they get everybody in that zone scheme moving one way and leaves a huge hole backside for Luke Kuechly to fill. Head up on the fullback, Eric Lorig. There's just too much space because of all the lateral movement provided by this offensive line getting the D lineman running.
On first down, Rainey inside the 40 of Carolina. Just over 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Tampa Bay, you know that they lost their first 8 games. In the fourth game is when they started Mike Glennon. They lost running backs Mike James and Doug Martin. That's how Rainey came on the scene. But the game in Seattle, when they led and then lost to the Seahawks up in Seattle in overtime, they said was the turning point that allowed them later to put this 3-game win streak together. Rainey gets inside the 35. He's near another first down. A little bit short. Jumps back. Ball out at the end, but whistled down by the official.
They are just slamming that lead, fullback lead, right into the face of Luke Kuechly.
And they did get the first down. Tim, you said it after Mike Glennon started. His first 4 games, he was averaging 45 pass attempts a game. And they said, we just can't win that way. It's not fair to our rookie quarterback. So no matter who the back was, they had to commit to the run. And that allowed Glennon to develop as a passer.
That's right. What did Glennon tell us yesterday? That everything opened up once they were able to run the ball. And you watch, you're going to see him drop a couple of big ones out of the play action looks.
From the 33 of Carolina, pass is caught right around the 30 by Rainey. Thomas Davis running right with him. Davis and his knee surgery, 3 on the same knee, talked about. I like the story Ron Rivera told you that at the end of last year, he and his wife went out to dinner with Thomas Davis and his wife, and Davis said, this is the first time I can work on me instead of my knee in the offseason in my career, it seems.
And give him a lot of credit, because there was a lot of people in Thomas's ear with 3 ACL surgeries to the same knee telling him to hang up the cleats and give it up. He said he thought about it, but his love and desire for this game was too strong. Happy he's playing.
Second down pass to Vincent Jackson, who can't get away. And a good tackle over at the 30 by the veteran Drayton Florence. It'll be third down for the Bucs. Tim Wright, who had 8 catches last week in the win over Detroit, the tight end, has just 2 today. And that was Vincent Jackson's second catch. Now a 3rd and 7 from the 30 of Carolina.
Got to protect here. The worst thing that can happen, obviously, a turnover, number 1, number 2, a sack, pushing him deeper away from a field goal opportunity.
Threatening blitz. Here comes pressure. Picked up and incomplete. Trying to get it to Jackson. 4th down. Ryan Lindell will come on to try a field goal. He's 2 for 2 today from 27 yards and from 53. I wonder if you play that a little differently, Tim, if you could play that for 2 downs in that situation, given the score. But instead, they're going to at least line up for 3, or an attempt of 48 yards for Lindell. Remember, Connor Barth was hurt in the offseason. Lawrence Tynes had the illness. Lindell's been the kicker for the Bucs. He did not get it. And there's a Panther in pain down at the 37-yard line. That's Captain Munnerlyn, who is injured, slow to get up. Ryan Lindell here in Charlotte.
Oh, no, that's Jake Delhomme. He came back as a kicker for the Buccaneers.
And he looks like a little bit like a Jake Delhomme, who's mucking stalls somewhere.
Picking hooves.
A big miss by Lindell from 48, and Cam gets it almost intercepted by Darrelle Revis. Oh, he was thinking about the end zone before he had the football on Steve Smith.
Now he's thinking about an injury, because it looks like he definitely is shook up. Oh, what a break on the football from Rivas. This ball again, I think, comes out a little late from Cam Newton. Steve Smith falls down. And if you throw balls even a fraction late against these top-level cornerbacks, and Rivas is certainly one of those, he's lucky that wasn't going the other way.
At one time, maybe the best corner. Now he's in the top 5, even coming off of the injury. Had the groin problem that kept him out of practice much of the week. I actually talked to him after his pregame warm-up, Tim, and he said, I feel fine. There's no problem cutting here, and he planned a big day against Steve Smith. In fact, Steve Smith in this game so far has just 1 catch. So from that standpoint, Rivas has done his job.
Well, he's done it on Steve Smith, but got smoked on that stop and go against Ted Ginn for a touchdown.
Darrelle Revis was able to walk over to the sideline on his own, being checked after what should have been an interception. So Leonard Johnson comes in on 2nd and 10. Mike Tolbert the carry, bounces outside. Stopped at the 45-yard line at Carolina, where it'll bring up 3rd down as they continue to check on Revis, who does have 2 interceptions this year. And let a 3rd get through his hands, although Steve Smith played some defense on that play.
And he certainly tried to have an impact, but there's no doubt Revis should have caught that. I don't know if the sun was in his eyes or there was some glare, because really what happened, it looked like the football hit him right in the face mask.
Tolbert remains the back. Cam Newton. Steve Smith. Down inside the 38-yard line of Tampa Bay. It's a 1st down Panthers, and without Rivas, Smith roaming.
And another example, Chris, of Cam Newton making plays out of the pocket. Saw the blitz, very, very accurate. Steve Smith on 3rd down all season long has been huge.
Well, these all led to scoring plays that happened against San Francisco, and then remember the 4th down was a 19-yard gain. They needed 10 for a 1st down against Miami. And moments ago, certainly not as critical, but he picks up 17 yards, his 2nd catch of the game, and the Panthers on their way. Just over 4 minutes to play here in the 3rd.
I love the fact Cam Newton stood in the pocket, saw the blitz, and delivered a strike on time.
Tolbert straight ahead. And boy, did Cam Newton make that work, because he held it, and the defense had to hold it as Mason Foster finally slows Tolbert down.
And they caught Tampa pass rushing. You said it, a long read for Cam Newton. Not a quick read. He kept that ball in the belly of Tolbert for a while, read the defense. The defensive line committed. Few of them up front rushing the passer, opened a huge lane for Mike Tolbert, who continues to roll.
Down to the 23 of Tampa Bay after a 16-yard run.
5-9. 4-4-4. Set 180.
Tolbert again. Jonathan Casillas with a stop. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call star. Right, NFL to download now. Well, these Panthers.
I never know when you're going to throw that at me, so I'm always ready.
I just want you to always be paying attention here. Panthers are on a roll, Tim. If they win this game, the Saints play up in Seattle on Monday night. If New Orleans were to lose, they'd be tied as they head into their 2 of 3 meetings, or 2 meetings over the next 3 weeks. But the Panthers focused on finishing off the Bucs today.
Ralph.
Stewart checks in the backfield for Tolbert.
Set 180.
Cam Newton intercepted. Levante David has it for the Bucs. His 3rd interception of the year, and the 2nd of this game for Cam Newton.
When Cam Newton does not set his feet and throw an accurate ball, it's pretty obvious. You just watch his lower body movement, and if the rotation's not right, that ball's sailing. That one was picked.
If you're a Panther fan, David, with that interception, curbs your enthusiasm. By the way, Darrelle Revis on his way to the locker room for the Buccaneers, injured on that previous series. Bobby Rainey in for the Bucs, who still trail by 18. Glided in trouble. And A.J. Klein. He's having himself quite a game. That's the 3rd sack today for the Panthers.
And a busted protection for the Buccaneers up front. And Schiano knows it. I mean, watch Donald Penn look out and then step down and then think about stepping back out, and nobody blocks A.J. Klein.
Loss of 7. They're back at the 20. Bobby Rainey. It'll be 3rd and long for Tampa Bay. Colin Cole leading a swarm of Panthers. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt?
Well, we showed you the 80-yard touchdown catch by Alshon Jeffrey. This may top it. 46 yards, but watch how he goes up and hangs on. Bears extend the lead to 10 right now, late in the 3rd quarter over the Vikings. Chris and Ted.
Thanks, Kurt. Wow, terrific receiver play by the Chicago Bears, and that advantage over Minnesota. Kurt will keep you updated with all the highlights. Eagles are beating Arizona. Jets are beating Miami, or I should say Miami leads the Jets 13-3 on 3rd and 14. There's a lot of room for him to run, but he's got a long way to go for a 1st down. It'll be 4th down. Here comes the punting team. Michael Cain in for Tampa Bay. You know, as maligned as that secondary of the Panthers has been, Tim, they've only allowed 2 300-yard passers during the course of the season. Tannehill last week and Russell Wilson in the opening game of the season.
Chris, that's the biggest story with the Carolina Panthers. Everybody knows about Cam Newton. Everybody knows about Steve Smith, how good they are on the front 7. The big story is all those perceived backups that are doing nothing but making plays on the back end in the secondary.
Ted Ginn from the 20. An ankle tackle by Economos, who is the long snapper. A 53-yard punt and a 9-yard return by Ginn. Saturday, it's a Big Ten championship on Fox. 3rd-ranked Ohio State goes up against 11th-ranked Michigan State. See which team will earn an automatic bid to a BCS bowl game. Our coverage of the Big Ten championship Saturday at 7:30 Eastern, and you'll see it on Fox. 25 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Carolina led at the half, extended that after a controversial play and an interception. Cam Newton trying to bounce back after having been intercepted by Lavonte David. Jonathan Stewart works a couple of tackles, one of his better runs of the day, and that should push us to the 4th quarter.
And that was a collision with Deshaun Goldson come flying up and putting a hat on Jonathan Stewart.
Cam Newton with a touchdown run and 2 touchdown passes, and the league's best defense when it comes to allowing points. The Panthers doing what they need to do for their coach, and at the end of 3, they lead it here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Luke Kuechly, the leader of this Panther defense on the field, and they've done their job. 8 tackles today for Kuechly. Greg Hardy has gotten it on the sack act. And Panthers controlling the ball now. Jonathan Stewart with extra effort. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Lavonte David. We talked about him and Kuechly and how outstanding those 2 second-year linebackers are. Probably see both of them again at a Pro Bowl.
No doubt. And Luke Kuechly, I think he's the best true middle linebacker in the game. Just watching him play, his desire, his range, diagnosing plays, finishing plays. I think the best thing about this defense, I mean, you can chart up all the numbers you want. They're top 5 in so many key categories. They're number 1 in the biggest category, and that's points against, and only 6 today.
Converse. Set.
On 3rd and 1, Cam Newton has a 1st down. He had the dramatic touchdown right before the half when Ron Rivera gambled on 4th and inches, and the ball was batted away in the air, but He broke the plan as he gets the first down. A leading rusher again for the Panthers. I know that's one thing Ron Rivera is not going to complain about. When you talk about a team getting better for a championship run, he doesn't want his quarterback to be the leading rusher on his team every week.
Look, he is spectacular, and we see visions of it every week, whether we're doing the games or watching the highlights. But there are still parts of his game, Chris, to play championship football and really end up where they want to be in New York for the Super Bowl that have to get cleaned up.
Now they're trying to chew up the clock with Tolbert. He stays as best he can inbounds and does.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the great quarterbacks in this league, they know situations, and Cam has gotten so much better at his understanding big situations. But here, his last interception, you're in scoring position at second down. He never sets his feet, and he just throws up a prayer to the middle of the field. Late into the middle of the field, I'm a defensive lineman. I know that's a no-no. And you can't make those kind of mistakes, as good as he is in those situations, and win the biggest of the big games.
Leading by 3 scores over Tampa Bay. That Buck defense was the best on first down in the NFC. Stingy with yardage, but Carolina got 5. Makes it easier on second down, and a good grab to bring up third down by Greg Olsen.
About 88, Greg Olsen just quietly shows up every Sunday, and to me is the key to their passing game. Whether he's clearing it out for guys and people are running underneath him, or they're clearing it out for him and he's got a one-on-one matchup underneath. He's a major matchup problem every Sunday.
Leading receiver in the game with those 5 catches, another 3rd and 1 for the Panthers. Jonathan Stewart the back with Mike Tolbert.
Hey, set.
Here comes Brandon LaFell into the picture. Cam Newton has it. Throws. Tolbert has it. Pounding his way inside the 35. Run out of bounds by Barrett.
He is such a horse, Mike Tolbert, and he'll do it all now. Here's him early in the game, running around the corner, picking up some good yards with his legs. Up inside, nothing to the inside. He's got enough juice to put his foot in the ground, bounce to the outside, tough yards in the middle of the field. Never goes down when the first guy hits him on contact. He's his own best blocker, and he just took it to 2 of the most physical safeties in the game right there, Barron and Goldson.
He has 3 catches for 41 yards, and he's run it for 49. Barner, the rookie, goes down in a hurry. Both Barrett and Foster on the stop. Well, this is also important for the Panthers to be able to have a lead and then chew up the clock and move the football on the ground, because that's something the last few games, I know it's like looking for a smudge on the Mona Lisa, but Ron Rivera said we have to improve our running game during this winning streak. It's covering up some of the things I know that we need to do better.
You know, maybe they're figuring something out in this game that Mike Tolbert could really end up being the guy, the key runner in key situations. It's not even close in terms of how he's run the ball today versus Jonathan Stewart.
From the 32 of Tampa. Kenyon Barner knocked out hard. The rookie from Oregon was airborne. Danny Gore and Akeem Spence on the tackle.
Well, corners don't set the edge like that in the Pac-12. Watch Gore come off the edge right here and just put his helmet right through the lower legs of Kenyon Barner. Watch this. Slice.
3rd on the depth chart behind D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, and Mike Tolbert gives you a lot of flexibility as that fullback or tailback, running back.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, maybe they're finding out today that old 35 there, don't let the bad body fool you. He may be the feature back in key situations.
On 3rd down, Cam Newton to throw. Wide open, Steve Smith. Inside the 15 of the Bucs. Steve Smith can't let a game go by without John at somebody. It's an 18-yard pickup.
And look at the cushion out here by Gore on Steve Smith. And he just turns, cuts back to the outside. Gore is nowhere even close. And Steve punching it inside the red zone, inside the 20-yard line.
Cam Newton said of Steve Smith that he's at his best when people say he can't do something. You know, you can't catch, you're too small, you're too old. He likes to go toe-to-toe with anybody.
Better be careful going toe-to-toe with Goldson.
10th play of the drive. This is Stewart. Now inside the 11-yard line and under 9 minutes to go in this game.
And this is where they just dominate you and wear you down, the Carolina Panthers. Not effective in the first half, third down conversions. So much more effective here in the second half. And they're just going to wear you out and play keep away and not let you touch the football.
I mean, they've held it for almost 6 minutes here. So it's tough to keep. There you go. Look at how long this drive has been.
And here's what they do best. They take these long drives, these 5+ minute drives, and they capitalize with touchdowns better than anybody in pro football. So not only do they wear you out, they knock you out when they got an opportunity.
Single. Set.
Jonathan Stewart. Down to the 6. It'll bring up third down. Clock continuing to run. We're going to be under 8 minutes here. And Mike Glennon, who had 125 passes in the first quarter and a half, I should say yards on passing, has 157 in the game. He hadn't had a chance with the football much, as Rivera's team has taken hold ever since the 4th down gamble that paid off. The emotional swing in favor of that sideline. From the 7, it'll be 3rd and 3. Inside the 5, but let's see, did he get the first down?
Smart by Cam Newton, not sticking that football out and trying to cross the first down line or the line to gain. He protected the football and looks like he may have come up, Chris, just a little bit short.
Why not go for it?
That does nothing. I mean, you kick a field goal, it's still a 3-score game, right? You get a touchdown here, makes a huge difference.
Gonna get a timeout. With 1 second, I think, before on the play clock. Is that what Ron is telling the official? You know, he said
what he did last time.
He said after that Buffalo game, they lost. You know, there was a decision to be made. The team falls to 1 and 3. That he watches and views games differently when it comes to making decisions on 4th down. He has been money in that department.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
December in the Carolinas, and Graham Gano is on. So 2 sides of Ron Rivera. Riverboat goes for it. The analytical guy says kick the field goal with 6:43 to go. And Gano delivers for the streaking Panthers from 22 yards. The Panthers will get a chance to show off their defense in just a moment. Tonight at 11, head over to America's 24-hour sports network at Fox Sports 1 on Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan. All the highlights from around the NFL, the big plays. And to find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com now. Maybe the one will be that 56-yard run from Cam Newton. He's had a number of big plays that dive into the end zone on 4th down.
We see that every week. I'd prefer the one being
number 1.
Ted Ginn, stop and go right by the best corner in the league, or one of, and Darrelle Revis for an easy touchdown.
And Page is going to bring it out. And right at the 20, where the Tampa Bay offense will take over, trailing by 21. Well, we said coming in, Panthers were in great shape. Forget the wild card. They can win the division still, because after this game, in 2 of the next 3 weekends, they'll be facing the Saints, who play Monday night against Seattle.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this thing comes down. And certainly Carolina, the opportunity, getting the win here today, if it turns out like we expect, will have the opportunity to control their own destiny. Seattle may be slipping a little bit. Some of the issues they've got on their back end with suspensions and Percy Harvin's injury. You just wonder if they can really keep it going.
Now let's check in with Jen Hale on Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, well, Chris Darrelle Revis is still back in the Tampa Bay locker room. I passed him as he was walking back there. He was holding his chest, and indeed the training staff confirms it is a shoulder and chest injury, and he's questionable to return, Chris.
So he's had the injury through the offseason, then he had the groin injury that bothered him. That was the first time in his career he said he dealt with a groin injury. Now his shoulder went out in the second half of last week's game, even though the Bucs won that on the road at Detroit. Here comes a flag. Buccaneers.
False start. Offense number 11. A 5-yard penalty. That remains second down.
I'll tell you, as ugly as it's been, Chris, this season and the 0-8 start, and we know how it started. The two tough losses gave the Jets game away for the Buccaneers, came real close to beating New Orleans, a bad block of games. The Freeman situation, everybody on the outside speculated that Greg Schiano lost this locker room. That's garbage. He never lost this locker room.
Pass underneath to Brian Leonard. Well, all the talk, Tim, about losing the locker room was coming from people outside the locker room or ex-players. We had all the players tell us he never lost. In fact, we gained faith in him. He never changed in his commitment to us and winning, going 0-8. That's how we were able to put 3 wins together.
And you got to always appreciate him. At least I do when we sit and talk to him. He's a football coach, period. And he's not going to get into a battle in the public about what's right and what's wrong with his program. He believes in what he does, and he's going to stick with it. You watch when all this stuff comes out, when we ever hear anything about the Josh Freeman situation and how everything went down, Schiano's going to look pretty good.
Wes Horton with the sack on Mike Glennon, and despite what we've seen today, the Bucs feel they found their quarterback, and that takes a lot off a team that's going to be drafting probably in the top 10.
If anything, and I don't know if Glennon's the quarterback for the future in terms of the franchise guy, but his play and his ability to develop, at least in my opinion, has taken them off the hook to have to draft a quarterback in the top 10. Maybe they'll grab one in the second round or the third round, but Glennon certainly deserves the opportunity to be the starter.
Ted Ginn back, waving everybody away, and it goes out of bounds. Well, Joel Glazer, the ownership part of the Bucs, and I'm paraphrasing, said the tough times this team hung together, and it showed the locker room and the faith we have and they have in Coach Greg Schiano.
Sponsored by Amazon's new Kindle Fire HDX tablet, high resolution beyond HD.
Thanksgiving weekend, whether you're a parent, a teacher, a student, or a fan, there's a fun and easy way for you to hop on the NFL Play 60 bus to get on board and join the movement that's helped millions of children get active and healthy. Visit NFLrush.com/Play60.
I love that.
I love the commercial with Cam Newton and the kid warming up.
Whoa, slow down, little fella.
Cam Newton has not been sacked today. Meanwhile, Carolina's defense has 4 sacks. Jonathan Stewart up to the 45, a flag on the back end of the play.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Tell you, Nate Chandler gets the holding call there, and they could call him on a lot of plays with those interior linemen. I got to give him a lot of credit. He's played really well today against Gerald McCoy. Certainly one of the top defensive tackles in the pro game, both versus the run and the pass. This cat right here, this is a former defensive lineman. Came here as a defensive lineman, made the switch in the spring to offensive line, and has started at guard the last few games and has played well.
Jonathan Stewart protecting the football. And Mark Barrett coming up to make the stop. And we're going to get a timeout from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side of the field. The streaking Panthers hoping to get into the playoffs. Some other teams involved in the playoff run. The Colts leading by 1.
Well, that's Tennessee's season now. They got to win this one today.
And the Eagles and Nick Foles with a 10-point lead. Now they would be 7-5 if they hold on, and the Cowboys are 7-5 atop the NFC East. Dallas won their earlier meeting, but they play at the end of the year, likely to decide that division.
Yeah, week 17. It's going to be wild watching the NFC East come down the pipe this month.
After the penalty, 2nd and 19.
Sit.
And Tolbert brought down. This Carolina team, Tim, you go back, and we broadcast the opener where they held the Seahawks, who have a 10-1 record, play Monday night against the Saints. That was a 12-7 Seattle win, and Carolina was in position to win that game. Their defense played very well, and their last home loss was that game. This would be their 5th straight home win, and Ron Rivera's team on its way to 8th straight overall, which would set a Carolina Panther franchise record. Tomorrow night, check out Almost Human, and you'll see why critics are raving. RoboCops never look so good. Don't miss an all-new episode tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Well, the Panthers have been almost perfect, and since that loss at Arizona,
there's been a statement for them today. It really has.
Yeah, you said they had to kind of dominate, show championship level football. I know the Bucs not a playoff contender at the moment, but they did come in here having won 3 in a row. And they just beat the Lions, who are a division leader. It'll be a divisional sweep for the Panthers over their rivals in the South. Brandon LaFell gets a carry and goes down at the 43-yard line.
I think the one constant, I mean, there's a lot of areas Carolina can get better offensively, but the one constant, I don't care who they're playing, every week this team plays outstanding defense.
Buccaneers burn their last time out. Back to punt on 4th down is Nordman. The Buccaneers have blocked 5 punts in the last 2 years. That leads the NFL, but have not been able to get close today. Jim Ryan, Chris Myers, Jennifer Hale's been down on the field, and we've enjoyed doing a couple of these Panther games during Ron Rivera's hot streak. Let's talk about bigger picture. How do they stack up against the New Orleans Saints, who the nation will get to see on Monday night?
Well, the safeties who have not been exposed really all year long, those are the guys that I worry about against a guy like Drew Brees. I really do. Drew Brees, with his tight end, he can attack, and big Marcus Colston at a split-out receiver, tight to the formation. He can exploit safeties better than any quarterback in pro football. That has not happened yet to these Carolina safeties. I'm excited to see if it does or doesn't.
Mike Mitchell, one of those safeties, had an interception which helped turn the tide in this game. And here is the schedule that we talked about at the top of the remaining games. The regular season seems like it's flying by, but they'll play at New Orleans and then get the Saints at home. A couple of weeks later, it's Glennon. Here comes a flag, gets out, throws on the run, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Tim Wright.
Greg Hardy got held, and that's why he didn't get that sack on Mike Glennon. And I think that's what's going to end up being the flag here. I still think they need a running back to break out here in the remaining games. 2 times they got to have a breakout game.
Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
There's Davin Joseph holding Hardy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got to have a breakout game for their running back, not only for their O-line and their running back's confidence, but it'll take a lot of pressure off Cam Newton and the passing game.
Well, they played without D'Angelo Williams today, and they hope that his quad will be okay. We'll show you that schedule again with the Panthers and Saints in just a moment, because
Saints got a tougher road.
Right, aside from each other, and obviously Monday night key. Of course, the Saints hoping to win and try to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And he's going to go down. Glennon in the arms of Wes Horton. That's 2 for Horton, the rookie from Southern Cal.
Well, you got to appreciate Glennon hanging in there, trying to wait for receivers to flash open. But against this front, even if they're not sending pressure, you can't hold the ball for 5 seconds. And so he's going to shift, shuffle his feet, move around, move to the left, and by that time, Wes Horton's coming around the corner and gets the sack.
On 3rd and 18, Vincent Jackson at the 20, and it'll be 4th down. Ball rolling around afterwards. Captain Munnerlyn is underneath that pile. Looks like Vincent Jackson got it back.
Thomas Davis is holding the ball at the bottom of the pile there.
Looks like the official.
You see Luke Kuechly rip the ball from Thomas Davis. We got to play defense. Let's go.
Going to be 4th and 10, and the Bucs forced to go for it out of timeouts here.
Challenge.
Ron Rivera. Remember, if you're going to challenge, it has to be a clear recovery all the way through.
And here it is, Vincent Jackson. Nothing's down, nothing's down. That ball is out. And you can see there it looked like Thomas Davis in those black gloves had his hands wrapped around the football.
Yeah,
now Vincent Jackson's also got black gloves on.
Carolina was challenged ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact.
Ball is definitely out.
Well, we know it's a fumble. It's just who recovered it. On the field, it was not ruled a fumble. Ron Rivera challenges because he thought his defense recovered it.
Well, it's clearly a fumble. Watch as it comes out here with Vincent Jackson. Munderland's just holding him up. There is nothing down on the ground. That ball is free. Now he reaches for it, never possesses it. Now Drayton Florence reaches for it.
But is he down right there or didn't
they
have possession?
both have their hands on it, but he never had possession. His hands were on it. He didn't have a firm grip on it. Florence had his hands on it. Thomas Davis is the one who came up with it. I would think this is going to end up being a good challenge for Ron Rivera, and it'll be Carolina football.
Ron Rivera 1 out of 6 with his replay challenges so far this season. 2:46 to play. And the next time the Panthers get the football, looks like Derek Anderson is loosening up, give Cam Newton a breather. But this Panther defense giving up the fewest points in the NFL, coming in less than 14 a game, and they've held the Bucs to 6.
How about the last 2 weeks without their best player up front, without question, Charles Johnson?
And Charles Johnson, from what Ron Rivera told us, he expects him to be at practice on Wednesday with that sprain in the knee and be ready for the New Orleans Saints. Ron Winter wanting to make sure not only the fumble, but a clean, clear recovery before making his announcement.
After review, the runner did fumble the ball. However, there is no evidence of a clear recovery by a Carolina player. Therefore, the ball remains in possession of Tampa Bay. Carolina is charged with a team timeout.
Well, I don't know if you ever saw a clear recovery. A tie does go to the offense, but I never saw Vincent Jackson gather it in all the way.
Yeah, and you definitely saw Thomas Davis be the guy that picked up and stood up with the football. But I get it. I get why Ron Winter made the decision. There was no real clarity at who possessed the ball before the whole scrum started and when everybody piled on top. And then you really couldn't see the ball.
So it'll be 4th and 10 for the Bucs. Stay tuned after the game for the State Farm postgame show live from Los Angeles. All the scores and highlights. A check on that Eagles-Arizona game, the Bears and Vikings, and the Dolphins leading the Jets. Glennon holding it. He's got to get rid of it. Floats it, incomplete. And the Panthers will take over on downs. He was trying to get it to Rainey. Wanted to go back to the schedule because you were saying, Tim, aside from playing each other, the Jets is with Carolina, and then they're at Atlanta to close. And meanwhile, at St. Louis, we know the Rams are playing well.
We've done that game a couple years ago where they went in there and ran into a buzzsaw, and St. Louis beat them. And then, of course, they finished with a tougher game, in my opinion. It is Tampa at home than the game at Atlanta. I think the beauty of it is, and with the Saints a game ahead going into the Monday night game tomorrow night, record-wise, both of these teams, it's going to be settled on the field between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. It's going to be great football.
And great that the NFL schedules division rivals, division games like that late in the year.
Love it.
When it's all on the line. As Jonathan Stewart pounds his way inside the 15. Derek Anderson out in relief to give Cam Newton a break. Cam Newton finishing 18 of 29, 263 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and those 2 interceptions, and ran for a touchdown as well as we near the 2-minute warning. And the Panthers, these fans at this stadium in Charlotte, a slice of NFL history in Carolina. 8 straight. The best ever in this franchise's history. Of course, a decade ago they went to a Super Bowl. They might be thinking that big this time around. Welcome you back just down the street from NASCAR's Hall of Fame here in Charlotte. The NASCAR season wrapping up. The iconic number 3. And congratulations again to Jimmy Johnson, 48 team. Owner Rick Hendrick on their success. 6th championship in the last 8 years for Jimmy Johnson. Amazing. As Varner carries the Panthers, hoping for a division title or maybe another run to the Super Bowl. Tonight at 11, you can head over to our 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1. All the highlights from Jay and Dan, not only from the NFL, a crazy college football weekend, NBA, college hoops, Fox Sports Live tonight at 11. If you don't have Fox Sports 1 to get it, go to foxsports1.com. On 3rd down and 3, trying to run out the clock. Tampa Bay has no timeouts remaining.
Somebody dig! 1-18, hot!
Eric Anderson to Varner. If you go back to, we just passed Thanksgiving, came late in the year till last Thanksgiving, Tim, the best records in the NFL. Look where the Panthers, look who they stack up with.
Yeah, how about that? And that includes the win here today, of course, finishing with 4 consecutive wins, and nobody's happier about it than Cam Newton. Check him out right there.
Already smiling, mugging for the camera. He announced that he's a pescatarian, and that's a good thing. That means he eats fish. I know you're a big red meat guy, but he said he tried that. His parents, he tries to challenge himself as they go here on 4th and 1, sometimes drinking just water for months or laying off certain foods.
Whatever he's doing, it's worked. 8 consecutive wins, and I give Ron Rivera and his staff tremendous credit. They have modified the way they attack games, and they are finally winning situations. They didn't need it today, but linking up the offense with the defense with the special teams. 8 wins, 8 collective wins for the Panthers.
The franchise record, whether you want to call him Riverboat Ron or the analytical guy, he's dialed up the right numbers, whether they've been the underdog or the favorite, sweeping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South and in great position to make their run at the division and the Saints, who they will play in 2 of the next 3 weeks. We'll have more from Charlotte in just a moment.